Hey everybody, welcome to this tutorial on how to install Linux into a VirtualBox on your PC. So a couple things to take note of. One, if you are doing this in preparation for a boot camp and you've never used Linux before, you probably are going to want to take a little bit of time to get tuned up on Linux before you start trying to attack a boot camp that has typically Mac users. So in order to try to symbolize that, I've done a couple of things. One is I'm using a PC, which I'm very bad at, so all the things that you usually see me do rather quickly are going to be done rather slowly and with mouse and clicks. And also, I found some instructions in Spanish, at least part of them are in Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish, at least not in any kind of capable way. And that also struck me as an apt metaphor for this. If you are trying to use Linux without ever having done so for the purposes of a coding bootcamp, it's akin to trying to do something in Spanish. But it doesn't mean that it's impossible. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and jump. I go to my task view. Okay, how to install Linux Ubuntu under your Windows OS, written by Jorge Montoya, basically about a year ago. Do you have to reboot your computer to switch it between Windows and Linux now and then? Well, no, but I'm sure that's a common problem. Then you know that these reboots slow down your productivity. In this tutorial, you will learn how to install a Linux operating system x Ubuntu under your Windows OS using VirtualBox and save yourself some time. Well, fantastic. Also, the entire thing isn't in Spanish. There's like one or two screenshots in Spanish. I want people to realize that this is not the end of your struggles. You'll probably be looking things up more often than the people in your cohort will be. But at the same time, Linux is kind of a badge of approval, or there's a badge of approval amongst most developer communities when it comes to Linux, and I think that you'll find out why the further you get into it. But for our purposes, we're just going to follow this step-by-step training provided by Mr. Montoya. You'll also notice that it's like, hey, how do you pay to get this? And it's like, you don't. Montoya just wrote this for everybody to use because he wanted to watch the world learn. Okay, so I'm going to try not to sneeze, and we'll get going. Step 1, install the VirtualBox. The VirtualBox is open source software. You can download it here. Okay. Open that up in a... Send link to David's MacBook Pro 2. Well, I don't want to do that. All right. We got our Spanish to English translation if we need it. Oracle. VirtualBox is a powerful x86 and AMD 64 Intel 64 virtualization project for enterprise as well as home. Let's find out what virtualization is. When we describe VirtualBox as a virtualization product, we refer to full virtualization, that is, a particular kind of virtualization that allows an unmodified operating system with all of its installed software to run in a special environment on top of your existing operating system. This environment, called a virtual machine, is created by the virtualization software by intercepting access to certain hardware components and certain features. The physical computer is then usually called the host. It occurs to me that this might be very difficult to see. I wonder if we can zoom in. Translate to English. This is in English. I wonder. There's like a plus sign somewhere. As you can see, I have about as much proficiency with Windows as you probably do with Linux, seeing as how you're watching this video, but that's not that big of a deal. So what I'm going to assume is the problem here. Zoom! Excellent. Okay. We have Zoom. All right, so let's put this at maybe 150. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Again, sorry about the sniffling, but, well, I don't know. I could probably send out some other metaphor about listening through bad audio or something, but we could probably stop with the metaphors at this point. Okay, so click on the big blue button to choose your host type. You can download it here. So here's where... giant blue box. By downloading, you agree to the terms and conditions. You're looking for the latest virtualizing, blah, blah. Virtual... Okay. Platform packages. Download the file as usual. Okay, so they selected Windows. We're on Windows, so this is a Windows host. All right, there it goes, it's downloading. Okay. Perhaps a small sip of coffee to steel yourself for the trouble ahead. Well, possibly. We should read some more about virtualization. So where were we? This environment called a virtual machine is created by the virtualization software by intercepting access to certain hardware components and certain features. The physical computer is then usually called the host, while the virtual machine is often called a guest. Most of the guest code runs unmodified directly on the host computer, and the guest operating system thinks it's running on a real machine. Okay, cool. And our download is done. So let's come back to here, download the file as usual, and click on it after downloading in order to run the installation file. Okay, and that means that the OBS stopped. No, it doesn't. Okay, so let's pause for a second. Okay, so nose successfully blown. Hopefully there will be less sniffling. But let's go back because I thought that I had made a mistake, and I don't know what this is. 0 bytes. Perhaps that's just keeping maybe that's where it's going to put the file that my OBS records. It's the system or the software that we're using to record the screen. Okay, the process of installing an application in Windows is pretty much the same. Taking into account VirtualBox will disconnect you from your Wi-Fi. That's cool. Please make sure you're not downloading something else in the process. So I think it was this one. Welcome to the Oracle VM VirtualBox 6.14 Setup Wizard. Setup Wizard will install Oracle VM VirtualBox 6.1.4 on your computer. Click Next or Continue or Cancel to exit this. So Next. Oh, geez. Click on the icons in the tree below to change the way the features will be installed. I don't see any reason to adjust this because the tutorial doesn't have any adjustments. If we look, it goes right from download to click, so I'd have to imagine in order to run the installation file. I don't see anything that suggests that we should adjust any of this, so let's just click Next. Sure. We'll disconnect your network connection and temporarily disconnect you from the network. Well, that's going to be a problem, but that's okay. Click Install. Oh, man. Yes. Okay, so here's hoping that all of that worked. A little box has appeared. Okay, so step 2 says download. Okay, so step 1 is over. We're none the worse for wear. We did have to click on a couple of things that it didn't tell us whether we should click on that or not, so here's hoping we did it correctly. I'm going to use Ubuntu for this example. Download the code here. All right. Download Ubuntu. (1604), 1804. I have no idea how to use torrents. So let's look up how to use torrents. Use torrents. Come on, backspace, you got it. Oh, geez. Well, LTS stable. Okay, I don't know how to use torrents, so rather than... Oh, gosh. I don't like that. Oh, I got rid of the tab, of course. I don't want a new window, though. I want to keep this all in the same section. I think I have a 64-bit system. Okay, so we downloaded it, so it's in our downloads. Boy, if we're doing this wrong, I really hope we're not about to brick our computer, but that's okay. Once you install VirtualBox, it's time to create the virtual machine to store our Linux-based OS. Think of it as a computer inside your computer. Check. Click the star icon New in the top left, or in the image, Nueva. File must be Archivo. Ooh, new, okay. Oh, okay, so see how they moved them around a little bit? We got slightly different interfaces. So we'll click on New. Name of the operating system, we'll say X Ubuntu. Ooh, and it changed it. Excuse me. Machine folder. It is not giving me a machine folder, so I guess we'll just have to assume that it knows what it's talking about. Click Next. See how much RAM you want it to use. Feel free to use slightly more RAM than suggested by default. 2048. Oh, I wish I had any idea what I was doing here. So 2048 doubled is going to be 496. Doubled from there is 8196 maybe? 8196. I would really like to know that that's true. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit, are we going to do that? Let's go inspect. This is going to open up the developer console. We can go to the console. There's definitely better ways to do what I just did, but what you can do, I don't want that. Come on in. Inspect, console, and then we can clear the console. Okay, so let's just double 496, just because, well, this whole endeavor is making me seriously nervous. 8192. Okay, good. 8192. Here's hoping. Well, they said 2048. Let's double that. We'll make that 4096. Sure. I'd have to imagine that since it's a virtual machine, we could probably just scrap all this at a certain point. Let's hit next. Now it's time to create a virtual disk. which means the VirtualBox will borrow some space from Windows while it's working. Choose create a virtual disk now. Okay, we can get rid of this. Might be a good idea to zoom this in too. Okay, so create a virtual disk. I know. Leave the default VDI. Okay, click next. You can assign a new operating system either a hard drive with a fixed size, or you can reserve some space dynamically. That will mean that you choose a limit size and the hard drive will expand itself until it reaches that size. I'm choosing the fixed size alternative. Feel free to choose what you think is best for you. I have no idea what is best for me. So I'm going to do fixed size. Dynamically allocate will only use space on your physical hard disk as it fills up. Alright, let's just do that. Move the slider to determine the size of the hard drive. Okay, so move the slider to determine the size of the... This is probably one of the worst tutorial videos I've ever made, but get used to that if you're installing Linux for the first time. Not that there's anything wrong with it, of course, it's just every single portion of your time at a coding bootcamp is probably going to be a little bit more difficult, but it'll be worth it in the end. Okay, so move the slider to determine expanding room with however 20 gigabytes are remembered. Alright, let's do 20 gigabytes then. Can I not just... There we go. Okay. Please type the name of the new virtual hard disk. Alright. Create. Creating fixed medium storage unit. Ah, good. Ubicación del archivo. Oh no, that was what we just did. Alright, and then we saw that. It's creating. Well done. You just created a Linux virtual system inside of your VirtualBox. You can now install the operating system inside this machine. Ah, sweet. It just occurred to me that this is getting pretty frustrating. So we'll move this up here a little bit. In your file explorer, look for Xubuntu ISO file you downloaded earlier. Okay. I'm mostly familiar how to get to my... There we go. Downloads. iOS torrent. Uh-oh. Well, I want to make sure .iso versus .iso.torrent. Torrent is different than ISO is. Torrent is a peer-to-peer service. The torrent size means downloading ISOs. How to use an ISO file after downloading a torrent. Oh boy. Well, let's see what this guy has to say.
Alright, this tutorial is going to be on how to file, but downloads, and you want to get the Daemon Tools Lite. Or wait, 1 second. Damn it. Yeah, just click on the Daemon Tools, and then Daemon Tools Lite's right here. Or right here, actually. And click download. Download. Yada yada yada. Save file, do all that junk. Install it. Alright, and then once you run it,
Oh man, we're in over our head here.
Come up, 1 second.
Let's go back to Ubuntu. Oh man, I'm nervous. It's 18 for. Okay, so let's look. So we have X Ubuntu 1804.4 desktop amd64.iso.torrent. And this one is all right, let's go back and just double check. So we send X Ubuntu desktop AMD 64 ISO. I think we have a winner. 1 hour left. Okay, so that's going to be part 1 of this video. Oh no, it's going much quicker than we thought. Because that was the fastest 20 minutes I've seen in a while. Okay, so 5 minutes. 5 minutes is too long to wait on a video. So let's go back to our OBS and we'll pause it. Okay, welcome back. So we have waited for the download to happen. The download has happened. I think the last step that we were on was in your File Explorer, look for the xubuntu.iso file you have downloaded earlier, which was, a moment ago. Right-click and choose Mount, Montar. To be honest, the whole instructions in Spanish thing looked a lot more difficult when I was scanning this, but this is all in English, so, expect the unexpected or something. Anyway, File Explorer. Don't want that one. Oh, for the love of goodness, where's the... Why doesn't it say ISO? Didn't it download? Show in folder. Boy, I sure wish it said ISO. Oh, mount, there we go. So, oh, it doesn't say .iso here either. Okay, so we're in good. Archivo de image. I think archivo, sorry about that, but archivo I think means file. So we'll say mount. Take a look. Let's have a look at what this is going to do. Música, videos, disco local. Wait, do I have 2 of those open? I think so. All right, so we're going to right-click this. We're going to click Mount. There we go. Sorry, I'm perfectly aware that parts of this are my not knowing how to install Linux, and other parts are my not knowing how to use a PC. So serious apologies for all of that. But at the same time, Well, whatever. So open VirtualBox if you have closed it for some reason. I have not. Click the green start arrow. All right, here we go. Choose the mounted ISO file from the drop-down list. Oh boy. Oh, okay. So, oh, good. So, after waiting with bated breath, oh boy, this is ugly. Let's go ahead and close this. This probably needs to stick around. This probably also needs to stick around. Click Install Ubuntu English. So we're clicking Install Ubuntu. Click here to test your keyboard. Okay. So function, all right. Cool. Let's go continue. Download updates while installing Ubuntu, Xubuntu. Install third-party software for graphics and stuff. All right, and then continue. Leave the default option. Oh, I guess that's coming up. All right, so you might not be able to see it. Ooh, probably can make this bigger, right? And doesn't really do much. Okay. Leave the default option, erase disk, and install Xubuntu. Click install now. Remember that this is just the free disk space you're giving to the VirtualBox to your system, not the whole drive. Right, install. Continue with the easy installation process. Oh boy, Mr. Montoya. If only you knew that that easy is quite a slippery definition. All right, so this got there. Install now. If you continue, the changes will be written to the disk. Where are you? Chicago's close enough. Who are you? What's the name I went with? Lovelace Turing. Our password. We'll pick a good one. Fair password. Oh, you just wait. There we go. And type in our password again. And we'll require my passwords to log in. Why not? Welcome to Xubuntu. Hooray. Oh, wait, we're supposed to wait for something. Installation is complete. Cool. All right, so we're pretty much just waiting at this point until we get to the installation complete. I'd pause it, but, you know, we've already had a couple pauses in the video. I also think this is going to be one of the worst tutorials I've ever made, but it's on purpose, again, because everything is about to get a little bit more difficult for you until it gets way easier if you're going from not having ever used Linux to using it, especially during a boot camp. So, join the community. That's the other thing. In addition to Mr. Montoya's delightful tutorial that we're working off of here, Linux is also home to a bunch of people that think the world's better if everybody shares things. If you're not familiar with the idea of open source, you ought to start getting familiar with it. It's a very cool concept. But I'm not going to butcher it by giving you a quick description right now. We're just going to wait. Join the community. Almost finished copying files. Good stuff. Oh my goodness, installing the system. All right, that's enough for a pause. Let's go over to our pausable section, and we'll click pause. And welcome back. We are in business, as it were, at least according to the tutorial. Installation is complete. Installation is complete. Booyah. Okay, so it's possible that the restart button won't work. Just turn the virtual machine off and on if your system freezes. Okay, all right. Restart now. Okay, looks like it's working. Please remove the installation medium, then press enter. Oh boy. How do I turn it off? Oh no. Just turn your virtual machine off and then on again. I don't know how to do that. Ooh, help about VirtualBox. File. Ooh, power down. We're going to power off the following machines. Okay, fingers crossed. Excellent. All right, so we'll type in our big old password, which is nice and secure. I mean, we hope. Click the... Okay, so this might be really difficult to see, but I keep making this bigger and it keeps not doing anything for me. See? So, sorry about that. Not sure what that's doing. I'd have to imagine that's something we can mess with later. But let's check our mouse button. Mouse icon on the top left. Click Settings, Software Updater. Ah, so the scroll button... Oh, it does work. Okay. Software Updater. The system will check for updates and will inform you about them. Unreleased software has been issued since Ubuntu. I thought I was using X Ubuntu. If that reveals how little I know about this, sorry, but that's okay. Okay. We'll check for updates and we'll inform you about it. Click install now. All right. I always thought this was cool how sometimes there's a comma for the decimal point. In locations other than the United States, they use a comma to denote the portion of a number that's, oh, you need to authenticate. Oh, good, we need to authenticate. Type your root user password in order to download and install. Ah, good. So, again, we got a nice, thick password. Not sure thick's the right word for it. Also, I'm not sure I typed it correctly. Wait a couple of minutes until everything has been installed and downloaded. Okay, so let's go ahead and pause this video again because it's getting pretty long at this point. Come back to our OBS. Okay, welcome back from being paused. Although I guess it won't look like being paused. But so everything downloaded. Turn the virtual machine. So it says restart now. I don't know if that's referring to the virtual machine or like the VirtualBox. I don't know that I'm completely clear on the difference between those two, if there is one. But I'm going to hit restart now. Let's see what happens. I don't think I need to see this message again. All right. Okay, so I think, congratulations, I now have a browse the web terminal emulator. All right, okay. I'm probably going to need to consult with some of my friends before I start asking dumb questions like where is Chrome or can I use Chrome? I don't really know the answer to that. What about view? I want to make this bigger. Full screen mode. Adjust window size. I ran into that earlier. Ooh, scale to 300%. Let's see what happens. Oh boy. Oh, I forget how I got there. Oh, nuts. Oh, it was view, that's right. Virtual screen 225. Okay, that's looking a little bit more like a computer. Home. Ah, look at all the stuff. Documents and downloads. Wonder if I have any applications or something. Browse the network, file system. Cool. It's in user. All right, what's in? Well, I'm probably going to keep messing with this for a while, but that's pretty much it looks like. So if we come back to our tutorial, congratulations, you now have a completely functional Ubuntu installation inside of your Windows operating system. Jack, pot. We are in business. Well, that's going to be it for this tutorial. Thank you for hanging in there and watching the whole thing if you did. If you dove out earlier, then I guess this message won't ever reach you. But please come back. But anyway, that's it for this. I'd have to imagine this will be the beginning of a series of videos where we'll start using Linux and try to mess around with it and see if we can figure out what's what. But for now, I think we're going to go ahead and end this here. Thank you for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I apologize for all the sniffling earlier. If this makes you cry, then you're in good company, because Linux is definitely a good way to make sure that you remind yourself how little you know about operating systems and computers. Also, quick thing, in case you're curious, this is a good demonstration of what recursion looks like without a base case. So we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching again. And, oh boy, I'm shorting out. Thanks for watching, y'all. We'll see you in the next one.